Hi, welcome to this video. In this video, I will be talking about logical operators in JavaScript. Logical operators are very important in any programming language and they help to take decision based on a certain condition. Suppose if you want to combine the result of two conditions, then the logical and logical OR operators help in producing the final result. I will open the code editor and I will show you some examples of logical operators. I have this simple index.html file and inside that I have attached an external myscript.js file. Both of these files are located inside the exercise folder. I will open the external myscript.js file and inside this file I have already listed down all of the logical operators for you. The logical operators include the AND operator, the OR operator and the NOT operator. Let me start with the AND operator. Before I move forward, I need to declare two variables, var student age. I will assign it a value of 18 and the second variable student gender. I will assign it a value of M for male. Now I will use the conditional if statement and inside these parentheses I will define some conditions and I will compare these conditions using the AND operator. The first condition is student age. The student age should be greater than or equal to 18. And the second condition is, but before I write the second condition, I have to make use of AND operator. This is called AND operator. Now I will write the second condition, which is student gender should be M or male. Let me group these conditions. You can use parentheses to group the conditions like this way. And if this whole condition is true, then I want to execute some block of code. Let me display some message. I will use document.write. I will say student age is greater than or equal to 18 and student gender is male. So this is called logical AND operator. Let me explain this logical AND operator. For the logical AND operator, both of these conditions must be true. If any condition from these conditions is false, then the whole condition will become false. So it is necessary for both of these conditions to be true to make the whole condition true. I will save this script. I will show you the result inside the browser. I'll refresh. So student age is greater than or equal to 18 and student gender is male. So both of these conditions are true. The student age is 18 and the student gender is male M. So this makes the whole if condition true. Now let me change the student age from 18 to 16. So in this case, the condition on the left side of AND operator is false, which will make the whole if condition false. I will save this script. I will refresh the page. So there is no line of code of execution. So this is how you use the logical AND operator. And for the logical AND operator, all of the conditions must be true. If any condition is false, it will make the whole condition false. Now I will discuss the logical OR operator. I will copy this if condition and I will change the logical OR with two pipe sign, which is called logical OR operator. Let me also change the text of this string. Student age is greater than or equal to OR. For the logical OR operator, only one condition needs to be true. In this case, the student age is 16. This means this condition is false, but the condition on the right side of the logical OR operator is true, and which will make this whole condition true. I will save this script. I will show you the result inside the browser. So you can see the student age is greater than or equal to 18, which is in fact false, but the condition on the right side was true, which makes the whole condition true. The student gender is male. Now let me change the student gender from M to F, F for female. So in this condition, both of these conditions are false, and this will make the whole if condition false. I will save this script. I'll refresh the page, so there is no line of code of executions. So for the logical OR operator, you need one condition to be true to make the whole condition true. Now I will discuss the logical NOT operator. I will define a condition if I will use the logical NOT operator. This is called logical NOT operator, and inside this I will define inner condition. I will look for student age is greater than 18. Now this logical operator will convert true into false and false into true. I will define some block of code. I will say document.write student age is less than 18. So in this case the student age is 16, which means this condition will become false, but the logical NOT operator will convert this false status into true, and that will make the whole if condition true, and this line of code will be executed. I will save this script. I'll refresh the page, so you can see the student age is less than 18. So this logical NOT operator converts the false into true. Now if I change the student age from 16 to 25, so this means this inner condition is true, but this logical NOT operator will convert the status of true to the false, and the whole condition will become false. I'll save this script. I'll refresh the page. So there is no execution, but there is also, I think, some execution from the previous conditions. Let me comment out these lines. I'll save this script so we can see the logical NOT operator operation properly. Save. So there is no execution of code. So the logical NOT operator reverse the logical state of a condition. If a condition is true, it will make it false. If the condition is false, it will make it true. So these are the logical operators, and these are the ways how you can use these logical operator inside the conditional statements. Hi, welcome to this video. In this video, I will talk about conditional switch statement. A switch statement is used to test a variable for equality against a list of values. The switch statement is part of JavaScript conditional statements. I will open the code editor to show you an example of switch statement. You can use multiple if-else if statement to perform a multi-way branch operations. However, this is not always the best solution, especially when all the branches depend on the value of a single variable. These if-else if conditions are looking for a student grade. You can use switch statement which exactly handles this same situation, and it works more efficiently than the if-else if statement. Let me convert this if-else if statement into the switch statement. I will comment out this if-else if statement. And I will show you an example of switch statement. To define a switch statement, you use switch keyword and then parentheses. Inside these parentheses, you write an expression or a variable, and then the opening and closing curly braces. These parentheses can have an expression to be evaluated, or it can be a variable. In this case, it is a variable which is student grade. The objective of the switch statement is to evaluate an expression and compare the result of an expression or a variable with the multiple cases. So you need to define some cases. I will define some cases for the student grade. If the student grade is A, then I will define a case for student grade A like this. Case A and colon, and then block of code after the case statement to be executed, like document dot write. I will say student with grade A, and next I will write a case for grade B. Remember, this is colon, not semicolon. Okay. So block of code for the case B, which is document.write student with grade B. So these are the cases which I am writing, and the third case will be for the grade C student. Document.write, I will say student with grade C. So the value of this student grade variable will be compared with all of these cases. If there is any match, then the block of code will be executed. In this case, the value of student grade is B. So the switch statement will compare the student grade value with the case's values, and if find the match case, it will execute the block of code of that particular case. Let me add a line break, and after that I will save this script and I will show you the result inside the browser. So in this case, the grade value is B. It will execute this block of code. I will save this script. So you can see the switch statement executed the block of code after the case B, but it also continued the execution after the match case. To stop this execution, you use the break statement. So this break statement will stop the further execution. I will save this script. I will refresh. So now you will see only the block of code of execution with case B. The switch statement is used together with break and default keyword, but both are optionals. The break statement indicates the end of a particular case. If you omit the break statement, it will continue executing each of the following cases. But if you use the break statement, it will stop the execution of more code and case testing inside the block. It will ignore the execution of all of the rest of the code inside the switch block. Now, if there is no case matched, then the default keyword is used to run some code, and it is not necessary to break the last case inside the default keyword. I will use the default keyword and then colon and then block of code to be executed. I'll say no data found. So you don't need to add the break statement after the default keyword or the default case. So I will save this script and I will show you the result, and the result will be the same because the grade of the student is still B. If I change it to a C, then it will execute this block of code and then it will break the control. I'll save this script and then I will refresh. Now if I change the grade value from C to F, so you can see there is no matching case and the control will move to the default case and it will execute the block of code after the default. I'll save this script. So you can see I'll refresh, no data found. So as I said earlier, the break and the default are optionals, but it is necessary to use the break statement to stop the execution of further case testing, and the default keyword is used if there is no case match, then the block of code is executed in the default block. So this is how you can convert this if-else if statement into a switch statement. Hi, welcome to this video. In this video, I will talk about loops in JavaScript. While writing a program, you may encounter a situation where you need to perform an action over and over again. In such a situation, you would need to write loop statements to reduce the lines of code. The most basic loop in JavaScript is while loop. You use while keyword and then you define condition inside these parentheses, and then you specify block of code inside these curly braces. The purpose of while loop is to execute a statement or a block of code repeatedly as long as the condition defined in these parentheses is true, and once the condition defined in these parentheses becomes false, the while loop is terminated. Let me give you an example. I will declare a variable x with value of 1, and now I will define a condition inside these parentheses, and the condition is execute a statement or a block of code until the value of x is less than or equal to 5. And I will write the block of code or a statement, and let me simply display the value of x. I will use the document.write method. I will display the value of x, and I will also add a line break. So this statement will be repeatedly executed as long as this condition is true, and once this condition is false, the while loop will be terminated. So you have to also make sure the termination of while loop, and in this case I will increment the value of x with 1 by using the increment operator. If you do not perform this action, if you do not make sure the termination of while loop, it will crash the browser. I will save this script. I will show you the result inside the browser. I'll refresh the page. Now you can see the value of x is displayed repeatedly 5 times, and after that the while loop is terminated. So this way you write the while loop, and now I will move towards the next loop, which is do while loop. Do while loop. You use the do keyword and then you specify the block of code inside these curly braces, and then you write while keyword and you define condition inside these parentheses, and then you add semicolon at the end of do while loop. The do while loop is almost similar to the while loop, except that in case of do while loop the condition check happens at the end of the loop. So this means the line of code or the block of statement will be executed at least once, even if the condition is false. I will give you an example of this. I will declare a variable y with value of 1. I will display the value of y inside the block of code, document.write y plus line break, and then I will increment the value of y with 1 using the increment operator. It will make sure that it will not create an infinite loop, and then I will define a condition, and the condition is to repeat the loop or to repeat the execution of the statement until the value of y is less than or equal to 5. I'll save this script and I will show you the result inside the browser. So you can see this is the result of do while loop. Let me create a space between the result of while loop and do while loop. I will write a statement, document.write while loop with a line break. I will copy this, and here I will say this is do while loop. I will save the script again and I will refresh. So you can clearly see this is the result of y or do while loop. You can see the value of y is repeatedly displayed using the do while loop. Now let me change the value of y from 1 to the 6. So in this case this condition becomes false, but the do while loop will be executed at least once. I will save this script. I will refresh, so you can see it just displayed the value of y only once, and after that the condition becomes false and the while loop is terminated. So this is the difference between the do while loop and the while loop. Now I will discuss the for loop. Let me create some space so you can see things clearly. For loop. The for loop is the most commonly used loop and the most compact form of looping. You use for keyword and then you initialize the variable. I will initialize a variable z with value of 1, and then you define the condition, and the condition is x is less than or equal to 5, and then the iteration part, and then you specify block of code inside these curly braces. The initialization part is executed before the loop starts. This second statement defines the condition for running the loop, and this third statement is executed after the loop or the block of code is executed. Let me just simply display the value of z. I will save this script and I will show you the result inside the browser. I will refresh. So this is the result of for loop. So this way you write loop, and now you have got idea about the while loop, the do while loop and the for loop. There is one another loop which is for in loop, which is not part of this video. Hi, welcome to this video. In this video I will explain the purpose of break and continue statements in JavaScript. I will open the code editor and I will show you some example of break and continue statements. The break statement is used to break an execution of a code and take out the control from the block of code. To give you an example, I will make use of for loop. I just pasted a code of for loop, and this for loop is simply displaying the value of I for 10 times repeatedly. Let me first save this script and I will show you the result, and after that I will add or explain the break statement. I'll save this script. I'll open the index.html file. So this is the result of for loop, and it simply displays the value of I repeatedly for 10 times. Now, if you want to stop the execution of this for loop at some certain point, for example, if you want the value of I reaches to 7, and if you want to stop the execution when the value of I reaches to 7, you use the break statement like this, break. So when the value of I reaches to 7, this break statement will be executed and it will stop the further execution of the code, and it will take out the control outside the for loop. I'll save this script. I'll refresh this page. So now you can see only first 6 values are displayed, and when the value of I reaches to 7, the for loop is terminated by the break statement. So this is the purpose of break statement. Now if you want to break the for loop at the value of 8, I will save this script. I will refresh. So now you can see only the first 7 value of I is printed, and when it reaches to the value of I at 8, it stops or break the chain for the loop. So this is the purpose of break statement. Now I will give you example of continue statement. Let me create a label for the break statement. I will say this is break and I will say this is continue. So you can differentiate between the break result and the continue result. I will copy the same for loop and I will explain the continue statement. And now I will replace the break with the continue. And I will change the value of 8 to the 5. Let me create some space so you can see things clearly. Now, in case of continue statement, it only breaks the one iteration of the for loop and it continues with the next iteration. It doesn't take the control out of the for loop
it just skips the further execution of the code and it starts with the next iteration. In this case, if the value of I reaches to 5, it will stop the execution of this code and it will take the control back to the for loop and it will start with the next iteration. I will save this script and I will show you the result inside the browser. So you can see this is the result of break statement and this is the result of continue statement, and you can clearly see it continue or stop the execution when the value of I reaches to the 5. So you cannot see 5 between 4 and 6. So in case of continue, it doesn't take the control out of the for loop, it just breaks the current iteration and start with the next iteration. So this is the purpose of continue statement.